What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mike It Yourself. And you know what? Everybody wants to be a nerd until it's time to do some nerd stuff. What the hell am I talking about? Let's check it out. Damn it! Alright guys, so for those of you who know me very well, especially as a kid, you knew I grew up watching basically two TV shows, MASH and Chips. I loved the police motorcycle. In fact, one of my first builds, and I say build because I stripped it down to the frame and I built it back up, so I think I get to call it a build in that particular case, was a KZ1000 police bike. Now, I don't know what it is about it, but loved it. And along with those bikes, I also like the classic stuff, lowriders, and you know, all your different cars from the different generations, right? Everything from the early 1200s all the way up to the current day. I love vehicles. They're awesome, right? So anyhow, one of the things that I remember watching old lowrider cars rolling down the street, and when I think about Viklas, I think about a Siren horn. So what we're gonna add on here to blue is a big old Siren horn from Vixen Horns. Now I will tell you this, you need to check your own state's laws or whatever, but most likely not legal. So let's put it on. Alright, so the installation of this is really easy. I've got my air gauge. I actually relocated it from the other side over to this side, just because the metal of this was getting hot and it was burning my leg, man, so I had to get out of the way. So I actually mounted it up by the horn here. So I'll just pull that off. It'll be able to go back, and we're gonna take off the cowbell style horn, and this big old thing is gonna take its place. And based on the looks, I think it's gonna go on without any issues, but I guess we're about to find out the hard way. Let me get this stuff off. Okay, so we've got the horn off, and it's super simple, right? You got like one bolt there, or actually it's a nut and a stud, and then you just unplug the two wires from this piece, and you got your two wires here. So one's gonna be essentially a hot and a ground, right? It's activated by your switch, so we're gonna reuse that. What we do need to look at is on the Siren, it's got a red and a positive, so we just need to figure out what is ground and what is hot. On this connector, literally is plug and play. So I've already got the wiring on here done. I mean, I just put terminations on it, so it wasn't like it was anything complicated. I'm gonna remove this bracket so that way we can go ahead and just get everything mounted up without the complexity of having to handle the big horn thing here. But what's really nice, and I really wish it would line up 100%, but close enough, is these two bolts here that are part of this cowbell setup. We'll be able to tap right into those to connect that deal, so even less. Now the big question is, how far is that thing going to stick out? I don't know. We're going to find out. Let's just hope it doesn't get in the way of our foot. So this is the bracket that the cowbell mounts onto. I'm going to give it a nice clean wipe down, but the way this thing is hung on is it's got, of course, there are holes, and then I don't know what you call those, like nut plates or whatever. Anyhow, I pulled one off, so all we need to do is slide that right onto here, and we get to reuse that hole to mount everything up, and then we'll be able to put this thing together. We also got to check out them wires. So let me clean that up first. We'll get that assembled, and then we'll start checking on the wires. All right, so testing this out is super easy. All I'm gonna do is use my little 12-volt lighting deal. I got it grounded out to the frame of the bike. I'm gonna touch the termination there and hit my horn button. Nothing happens. That tells me that's the ground. So by default, this should be our positive. Let me hit the button. Bam, there you go. All right, so let's wire this thing up and get it mounted back on. All right, let's see here. So let me just go ahead and throw this bad boy on. Get that. Our air gauge. And if you don't have an air gauge, it makes it 10 times easier. Now, one of the things I did do is I added some blue Loctite to the screws that are the bracket that go onto the horn, because they didn't have anything. They didn't even have a lock washer on there, and Harleys vibrate a lot, especially this one, man. This is a twin cam 96. Thing shakes like crazy, so you want to make sure you secure that stuff down. Alright, so I just need to tighten that up. Got my red lead there. So red's going to go to the short guy. Alright, I'm going to have to cut my plastic shield in here because the stock deal is too big, and I'd rather modify those than modify these. So let me go and make that change, and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so it's in place. Got my air gauge where I need it. Everything fits. And it operates. Let's check it out.
Inside of me, you better watch out if you ignite me's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me, and he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored, loves the blood and gore, always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness, torn apart quick. You left scar.
So like I said, pretty easy one to put on. I don't know, just a little fun stuff. Like I said, it's cool. Like, I just remember growing up and watching these cars come down, hearing sometimes the siren sound, sometimes it was the ooga ooga, right? Like, cool stuff, man. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, if you did, become a member of the community. Sometimes we do some goofy stuff like this, sometimes we do some cool stuff, sometimes it's unrelated to motorcycles. Either way, I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear your experience. And if you have questions, hopefully, if I can't answer it, maybe a member of the community can for you. We're all here to just try to help each other out. We're all regular people just sitting in the garage renting away. So until my next video post, I hope to see you in the wind.